I might have seen, you might have seen the BIOS settings. Plus, press F1 to set up or F2 to set up or something like that. There you will be seeing a setting called as virtualization. Please enable that. If you don't have that, you can't use Docker. Okay, you can't use Docker. And if you have purchased your laptop recently, every version supports virtualization. So don't no need to worry if you are working on a newer version of it. Okay, fine. So in Windows 7, what happens is Docker installation installs a virtualization software called as VirtualBox. On that VirtualBox, it will install a Linux image. And actually your Docker is installed on Linux, not on Windows. And from Windows, whenever you are typing any commands, they go and hit the Linux machine which is running on a virtual machine. That's the basic workaround for Windows 7, or even in the Mac in the case of versions which are less than 10.2. Fine. So if it is Windows 10, there is no need for you to worry about it. The only thing which you need to do is you need to be on a Windows 10 Professional Edition. Okay, there you would have Hyper-V, and you have to enable that Hyper-V. Fine. Okay, so let me start with the Linux. Not to sound very complicated, let us try to create a Docker on Linux machine. So I don't have a Linux machine over here. I'm using Windows 7. Okay, one thing is I can create a virtual machine. Okay, I don't want to do that. I want to create a machine in the cloud. So I'll be creating a machine in AWS cloud. Okay, so we will be looking at how to create that and how to install the machine. For the first timers, please look at these steps. They are not difficult, but since we do it many times, even if it is today, if it sounds confusing, don't worry about it. Almost every other day we create a machine in AWS, so it should not be really troublesome. Okay, so how to create a AWS free tier account? I think you should have. I have shown you the links yesterday. Okay, so go into qualitythought.in/blog, and in there you would be seeing DevOps AWS material, and in AWS material there is a link of free tier, something called as AWS free tier. Click on that, you would see a PDF file with instructions. Okay, you would receive that in the mail also, but for the people who have not received that mail, so are you seeing AWS material? Click over here and free tier. This is a PDF which shows how to create an account. Okay, so one thing to remember is 2 rupees will be cut from your account. Okay, and generally some of the bank cards are not working. Okay, a bank పేర్లు నేను 3 రోజుల నుండి అయ్యే చెప్తున్నాను. సో ఆంధ్ర బ్యాంక్, స్టేట్ బ్యాంక్ ఆఫ్ ఇండియా, ఓకే, లక్ష్మీ విలాస్ బ్యాంక్, ధనలక్ష్మి బ్యాంక్, నో. Please try to give something which is known to the world. Citi, Access, ICICI, debit cards ఇచ్చిన పర్లా, but give from those words, right? Fine. Now let me log in into the AWS free tier account which I have. This is my landing page. Okay, and the virtual machine in the cloud world is called as EC2. So let me click on EC2. Okay, I want to create an instance, so I'll be clicking on launch instance, and please select this option if you are doing it for the first time. Free tier only. Okay, in AWS everything is not free, only one machine is free. Okay, only one machine is free. That machine is called as T2 micro, which means a machine with 1 GB RAM and 1 CPU. It is one core processor. Okay, and in here I'm interested in taking, you can take any operating system. Let me take Ubuntu. Okay, so click on next. So there is no need for you to worry about rest of the details. Next, and go ahead and give the name as Docker. Next, I'm not going to change anything, but I'm going to name this as Docker, so that it is easy for me to change the rules from there on. Okay, by the way, these rules are your firewall rules. This firewall rule says only 22 port is allowed, so you will not be able to communicate on any other port. So whenever we want to communicate 80 port or 80 port, we have to come back to this and then correct it, change it. Okay, so for now it's okay. Let me click on review and launch, and click on launch. Okay, so whenever we are creating over here, basically what happens is we will not have username and password, we will have username and key. So select this option, create a new key pair, and create some key with some other name. I'm creating a key called as Docker. Okay, download this key. Okay, we already have something called as Docker, so let me just call it as Docker Trails. I don't want to confuse myself. Okay, you can do Docker of 1.pem anachindi. I don't want to use that. I want to have different names. So Docker Trails is my file's name, and I'm downloading this. Okay, as long as you are in this page, you can download this file any times with any names. But once you have gone out of this page, there is no way in the world to generate the same key again. అంటే ఈ పేజ్ దాటేస్తే మళ్ళీ ఇదే కీని క్రియేట్ చేయలేం. And if you don't have this key, which means that you will not be able to log in into the machine which you have created. Okay, so losing this key means losing machine. So please keep it safe. Okay, now let me click on launch instances. So it takes some time. Okay, so Docker comes in two versions now. There is something called as um, community edition, and there is something called as enterprise edition. Let us start our journey with community, and at the last let us discuss what are the enterprise features. Okay, so community is free, enterprise is paid. That's the whole point. There is nothing apart from that. Yeah, so whenever it is paid, it will have some extra features, right? We will be discussing on what those features are. Fine, once you have this, click on this connect button. Okay, and then copy this command. Okay, and this command, to execute, you need an SSH client. You need an SSH client. And what are the popular SSH clients? Right? But somehow I hate it. I don't like it. You have to use a mouse a lot. So what I'd be doing is I'd be installing git bash. I'll be installing git bash. Okay. So to do that, to do this on Windows, I'll be introducing a new stuff which is called as Chocolatey. Okay. My spelling is wrong. Chocolatey. What this Chocolatey is all about is Chocolatey is easily installing softwares on Windows. Remember, this is only for Windows. If you are on a Linux machine, there is no need for Chocolatey. You already have apt-get. If it is on Red Hat, you have Yum. If you are on a Mac, you have Brew. But on Windows, we don't have any command line utility which can install softwares for us. And Choco fills that gap. So what I would be doing right now is I'd be going and installing Chocolatey. Are you seeing chocolatey.org? Just click that. Install Chocolatey now. Yes. And when you scroll down, you would be seeing that copy this command. Okay, copy this command. Type cmd, which is your command prompt. Remember to run it as an administrator. So don't forget this run as administrator. Otherwise, this installation might fail. Okay. Paste this. Click on enter. That's it. I'm not doing it because I already have Chocolatey. It will take a couple of minutes, and then you would have Chocolatey installed on your machine. Okay. Now I want to install git bash. So for that, I need to install something called as git for Windows. So I'd be googling for git for Windows, and then downloading the software, and then doing a double click, and then I'll be clicking on next buttons and all of this stuff, right? That's how you install software on Windows. But Chocolatey basically eliminates this need. What you can say rather than this is you can say that I want Chocolatey, which you can call it as Choco git for Windows. Are you seeing a command now? Choco install git. Copy this command. Okay. In your Windows, you will have something called as PowerShell already installed. So right click on this PowerShell, run it as an administrator, and then paste this command and then say Minus y is not required. It's okay. Choco install git. Okay. Fine. For me, it says that you already have it, but for you, it will install it. Yeah. So to show how why this Choco is necessary, what I would do is, okay, let me install some other software. Choco VLC Media Player. We all know VLC Media Player, right? And all of these days we have been installing it by downloading it and double clicking it. Okay. So today I'll try to do it in a different way. Let us see how it does. So are you seeing Choco install VLC? Yeah. I'll be going into my PowerShell and then I would be saying Choco install VLC and I would give -y because I don't want to give yes or no. Okay. Oh man, Choco is also already installed, is it? What is left then? Firefox. Firefox is also there. This is full of softwares, man. Okay, let me do one thing. I have VLC, right? So shall I uninstall it? Does it make sense? ఉంది కాబట్టి uninstall చేస్తాను, మీరు install చేసుకోండి. Okay. So what I will be doing is Choco uninstall VLC. Generally, I'll uninstall it after being created, but there is no need for you to go to control panel, add or remove programs, nothing. So we'll be using this. Okay. So I'm telling you about this software because on Windows, if you have to install Docker, we can use this. So you'd be searching for Choco Docker, and then you will get one simple command which you can use basically for installing the whatever stuffs which you have. Now, do I have VLC player? No. This is the easiest way to install softwares. Okay, fine. So you install Git using this. Okay, the moment you do this, you right click over here, you will be seeing these two options: Git GUI here and Git Bash here. And Git Bash is something which we want because Git Bash gives you a Linux like terminal. It is not a Linux terminal. Linux also uses the Bash prompt, and here we are getting the Bash like terminal on Windows. So let me go to my EC2 again. I copy this command. Okay, I go to the folder wherever I have my key. Okay, I right click this and I would say Git Bash here. Okay, and paste the command whatever you have copied and then click on enter. Are we in Ubuntu? Yes. This is a simple interface. When you compare to Putty, creating the keys and then storing the state, clicking on the UIs, I find this simple. Okay. But if you find Putty simple, and if you want to use AWS using Putty or using the instructions over here, connect using Putty, please click on this and he would tell you how to do that. Okay, fine. There are some questions. Let me see what they are. Can you please record the session? I'm sorry. Yeah, I have done that, I think. And can we use Docker image to install on virtual Linux server without installing Docker? I think I didn't got your question. Can we use Docker image to install on virtual Linux servers without installing Docker on it? It is not possible. You have to have Docker, right? Okay. Docker లేకుండా Docker image ఎలా వాడతాం తెలియదు కదా. It's like using docx file without installing Microsoft Word. So it will not know what that is. All right. You have to install Docker. Yeah. Maybe he is like asking as a template. Probably. But if you can elaborate on that question, and I think I'll be able to answer it. Yeah. Okay. So now I have to install Docker. So I'll be going into Docker. Okay. Let me go to, I think these guys are changing the UI as much. Docker install Ubuntu. Okay. So this is the Docker's page for installing Docker. One thing is you can go follow all of these instructions. Okay, you have to execute all of these instructions, but let us not do it today. Let us not go with this complicated route. I will be taking a simplest route today. Are you seeing this part? Yes, I will try to execute this part. Okay, this is not a right way to install because it will install the latest version of Docker. For example, if you want to be specific about a version, this script will not be handy, but for the first time it's okay. Okay, this is the Docker which you are installing for the first time. So let me go ahead and try doing this. Are you seeing get docker.sh file? Okay, and then the second instruction also he has given you what you have to execute. So sudo sh get docker.sh. This you can install on Red Hat also. Any operating system it will work because that shell script which is downloaded has an intelligence of how to work, what is your operating system and how to make it work. It will work on any flavor of Linux. Yeah. So that's it. Today's Docker installation for us is very simple. Okay. We'll be taking the procedural approach at the later point of time. But this will take time because it has to do the installation, it has to do apt-get update and all of that. All right. Okay. Let it do the installation and let me see. Prerequisite for Chocolatey is Chocolatey package, right? No, it is not no, nothing is prerequisite. Prerequisite for Chocolatey package is a .NET framework which will be already installed on your Windows machines. So there is no prerequisite as such. Yeah. Okay, just like an EMI, you can think of it. Yes, yes. Okay. What is the main difference between our normal CPUs and servers? I think the configuration and the processors which they use. Server gate processors are generally not are Intel i3 or i5 kind of versions. That they have their own Xenon quad core from Intel. They have a different grade of of hardwares which make the application look like it. When it comes to server versions, right, it is basically written for services and there will be more levels of security for it. So those are the two flavors which are different. Do we get today's recording class? We have just joined. I have just joined. Yeah, I think you should get it. Yeah, you will get it. Not should. Let us wait for this installation. I can't make it faster. Yeah, I could have if I have taken the better machine. But since I wanted you to create a free trial machine, I don't want to. I didn't want it to just basically pull it. Okay. In the meantime, let us look at Windows installation. Is it fine? Yes. Yes. Moment machine లేదు ఇంటర్నెట్ ఉండే www.get what get-docker.sh that's where it. Yes, obviously. Yeah, it is. We are connected to the Ubuntu machine from internet, so obviously this machine has to connect it to the internet. This is not with me, right? This is a machine in the cloud. అసలు నేను కనెక్ట్ అయింది ఈ మెషిన్ ఇంటర్నెట్ ద్వారా. సో దానికి ఇంటర్నెట్ ఆబ్వియస్ గా ఉంటుంది కదా. Yeah, are we clear? Yes. Okay, and one last thing is, okay, so what is the username over here? Ubuntu. So generally when I run Docker commands, this user will not have permission. Okay, so to give this user the permission, are you seeing the command over here? Yeah, Fine. Here the your user has to be replaced with your whatever user which you are running. In my case, I am running with a user called as Ubuntu, so I'll be giving this. Okay. Otherwise, I have to always become a root user to run Docker. Are we getting the whole point? Yes. Now let me execute the command called as docker info. Oh, I think I have to relog in for this permissions to be applied. Okay. Docker. Am I getting it? Yes. So it is giving me some info, whether it is whatever it is. Okay. So after installing Docker, please execute docker info command. Okay. And if you have given the user the permission, once log in and log out of that user, because the permissions will be applied while he is logging in. Are we good? Yes. So now if I have to make the same setup ready for my Windows machine, what is that I need to do? Okay. So for Windows 7, okay, make a note of this name. Just make a note of this name. The Docker is called as Docker Toolbox. For Windows 7, anything other than Windows 10 or Windows Server, we have to install something called as Docker Toolbox. Are we good? Yeah. And now to install this, what will I will do? I will basically say Choco Docker Toolbox. Are you seeing this command? Yeah. Copy this command, paste it in your PowerShell. You will have Docker installed on your machine, on your Windows machine. Okay. Remember, this installation will succeed only when your virtualization is enabled. Otherwise, this installation might fail. Are we good? And you should not do this on Windows 10. Remember even that. Windows 10 లో ఏమవుద్దో చూద్దామని చేయకండి, అవసరం లేదు. Right? Are we good? Yes. If you have to install on Windows 10, there are two steps. One is enable Hyper-V. Okay, for the people who have Windows, that happened. Fine. So for the people who have Windows 10, okay, first enable Hyper-V. Okay, and enabling the Hyper-V is very simple. Okay, we know control panel, everyone goes and uninstalls the software, right? You have to go to the same page. Okay, you will be seeing this option, turn Windows features on and off. Okay, if you do this on Windows 10 Professional Edition, you would be seeing a feature called as Hyper-V. If it is not selected, please select it. అంటే దీంట్లో ఉండదు, ఎందుకంటే ఇది Windows 7 కాబట్టి. On Windows 10, you would be seeing a section called as Hyper-V. Select that and click on OK. That is the first step. And after that, I have to install Docker for Windows. So I'll be doing Choco Docker for Windows. Can we do this? Yeah. Chocolatey heavily optimizes your installations. It downloads and it does all of the stuff. You have to just click this command, go and pick out a coffee and just do your job. So this is how even we are doing software installations in our offices now. Very, very much optimal, right? But one thing over here is you might not get a latest version. It might take some time to come in into Choco and all of that. But it's absolutely okay if you are installing the softwares. Fine? Yeah. Now, on a Windows 7 machine, once you have finished your installation, you will be seeing something called as Docker Quick Start Terminal. You'll be seeing something called as Docker Quick Start Terminal. If you double click it, it will take some time. Okay. So what is this time is, in the background, it is trying to create a Linux machine. Okay. Windows 7 lo, ఎందుకంటే Windows 7 Docker was not supported. So what it does is in the background actually it is creating a Linux machine. Once that Linux machine is up, this command will allow you to do something. Okay, so this is never used in production. Okay, this is only for your satisfaction. Windows 7 లో ఉన్నానని బాధపడకుండా నేను ఇది చెప్తున్నాను, but don't use Docker on Windows 7, not very stable, because you are not using on Windows, you are actually using on Linux. So it is better that you go to Linux and work on it. So to show the proof of it, create the virtual box, double click on the virtual box. Are you seeing something called as default? Yes. So this is the image which Docker uses. మీరు డాకర్ క్విక్ స్టార్ట్ టెర్మినల్ కొట్టినప్పుడు ఏమవుతుందంటే ఈ మెషిన్ స్టార్ట్ అవుతుంది. Okay, now if you go over here, it has said that yeah, everything is ready. Now you can use Docker commands, and any Docker command which you are using, you are not using Windows, you are using a Linux box. That is Docker toolbox. Fine, are we good? So not a right thing to do. Okay, but if you want to just give it a trial on basic Linux commands which we are going to discuss, even this is fine. Okay, but I would recommend you to go and create the Linux machine, and in that install Docker and work on it. Yeah, fine. Now let us go ahead and do some stuff. Okay, I want to basically install a software or install an application which is let us just pick some application, Docker Hub. Okay, shall I take Nginx? Nginx is a web server, or you can use it as a load balancer also. Basically, why is it used? It is used to deploy websites. Okay, normally what you have to do is you have to create a Linux machine, and in that Linux machine you have to do the installation of Nginx, and then the Nginx works. Right, now let me see what I have to do if I have to create a Nginx application on a Docker container. So let me go to this Explorer. Are you seeing something called as Nginx over here? So let me click over this. You can take anything. I have taken Nginx just as an example. Okay, if you scroll down, you would be seeing a basic command over here. Okay, fine. Let me copy this. I'm not even worried what that command is. I'm just copying whatever is there over here. So let me log in into that machine. Okay, and I'll be pasting that command. Okay, there will, I don't want to even change anything. It's okay. Okay, fine. Man, not this. Okay, the only thing which I need to change over here is Nginx. Is my spelling right? Yes. So what is happening? It is trying to tell that unable to find the image locally, and it is doing some download. All right. Nginx is a web server. For example, if you want to host a website, where will you be hosting the website? Apache. Exactly equivalent of Apache, the competitor of Apache you can think as of now. Okay, so now I have done some job, right? So I say that there is something called as 8080, and there is something called as 80. Okay, and if you remember, while creating this EC2 machine, I have just opened one port, which was 22. So if I try to access this, it will not allow me anyway. So let me go to my machine and open all the ports. Since we are not doing a very it is not a very secured way of doing it, but it's okay. For our machine, we don't need much of a security. So in your EC2 machine, just scroll to the extreme right, and you would be seeing something called a security group. And if you remember, we have called it Docker. So let me click on this. Okay, And in here, are you seeing inbound? Click on this, edit, add a rule, and select a rule saying that all TCP. I want to open all the ports of TCP. And you are seeing 0.0.0.0/0, right? That is anywhere. Anyone can access this. Okay. So if you want to give it a specific access also, you can give by telling what is the IP address of it. So I'm okay with this, and let me do this. And now let me go back to the instances. Okay. What is the machine which we have created? Docker. Are you seeing IP address? Let me copy this. Are you seeing Nginx? Yes. And let me also show you one thing. Okay. So where is, okay, Nginx is installed in the container, not in your system. So your system will not have any flavor of Nginx. Okay. So can we install Nginx and Apache in one system? Yes, but difficult, right? Yes or no? Do you agree to that? 2 web servers on the same Linux machine is a difficult job. 2 databases on the same system is something like difficult because they will install on the system. But Docker containers, what they do is they give a closed area for these applications to work. Now what I would do is I've installed Nginx, right? Now let me go ahead and install Apache. Apache is HTTPD. Okay. And I don't want to do all of this. So let me, what is this? HTTPD, right? So let me use the same thing. Docker run --name my Apache. I'm just looking at the top the command above and I'm trying to do it. -p AT:80 HTTPD. After this, let us understand what has happened. Okay. And then we will be learning about 2 new concepts, which is called as isolated area of execution. That is the first thing. Okay. And the next thing which you'll be learning is what is this image? What does it mean by downloading this image? Right? డాక్యుమెంట్ కదా, బుక్కే ఉంది, మీకు ఓపిక ఉండాలంతే. లేదు, with respect to Docker, we have a complete book actually. You should just have a patience of reading. I think it is in 100 to 150 pages book ఉంది కదా. డాకర్ ఇస్ డీప్. నాకు ఈజీగా 4 ముక్కల్లో కావాలనుకున్నారు అనుకోండి, దానికి కూడా సమాధానం ఒకటి చెప్తాను. Just let us wait. Yeah, I'm telling you a very legitimate answer. Okay. So let us finish this off and then I'll come address your concern. Yes. Okay. Now what I would do is, this was our website, right? This was our system's address. Now let me copy this. We are seeing 2 web servers in the same machine running at the same time. Okay. This on a physical machine is very difficult to achieve. Why? Because you are doing the installations on your file systems, but actually your installations are not happening on your file systems. They're happening in containers. So what is a container now? Container, you can think of it as an isolated area of execution. ఏ అప్లికేషన్ అయితే రన్ అవ్వాలో దాని రన్నింగ్ కి ఒక ఐసోలేటెడ్ ఏరియా విచ్ ఇస్ abstracted from the external world. So can I tell this? Do you agree to this now? A Docker container gives isolated area for execution of applications. So what do I mean by that? Every application will get its own area to work, okay, which is not shared with others. Okay. And whatever they do, they would be doing on this area. Okay. One container will not impact other container. They will be given their own areas. Fine. That is the first step. And the next step, what we have to discuss is, when I did docker run command, it was doing something like download. What is this? Okay. So shall we understand these steps? Yeah. So for that, not this. So not there. Okay, fine. Let me try to depict it in paint. Okay. So whenever you install Docker, you get, okay, let us assume this is my machine, altogether my Linux machine. Okay. You would get two things. Okay. So this I would call as client. And then I would call it as daemon. Okay. What is a daemon? Daemon is a service which runs. All right. Client is nothing but the CLI which you are using. Docker run antunam kada. The command, whatever command which you are typing, is basically a client. And now from the client, you said that I want to run some applications, run something like Nginx, right? That was my first command. There were some arguments. So what happens is, client will not do anything. It will basically, what it does is, it will try to tell to the daemon saying that user has given me a request saying that he wants to run Nginx. He wants to run Nginx. Okay. And the stuff which you are seeing at the bottom, I would call it as image store. Okay. So daemon, what it does is, it will ask something called as image store. Do you have a Docker image called as Nginx? So whenever you do Docker run, what happens? The call will be sent to the Docker daemon, and daemon will ask, okay, image store. Do you have that image? We have installed Docker just now, so we'll not have any images. The answer from image store will be no. So whenever it says no, what daemon will do is, it will go and speak with Docker registry, and the default Docker registry is Docker Hub, and the default Docker registry is Docker Hub. So it will go and ask Docker Hub, do you have any image called as Nginx? It would say yes. Then what it does, it starts download, and where it downloads into image store. Okay. So we have image now, and once the image store has an image, that will be executed to form container. So once the image is over here, let us assume that this star is an image. Okay. Then what happens is, a container will be formed once the image is ready. So let me rewind the steps. Client will ask the daemon whatever you have typed, and daemon will ask the image store. If the image is not found, it will make a request to the registry. Okay. And now it will download to the image store, and then it will be executed to form a container. So 5 steps, 5 simple steps. Okay. Now let me look at this CLI. Okay. And now let me try to execute the image of Nginx again. Okay. So let us see. I have downloaded the Nginx into the local store already, right? First time it has created. Now let me try to run this. Okay. Name. Okay. Some Nginx 1. 2 containers cannot have a same name. Did it download it this time? First time run chesinapudu downloading image and we got lot of stuff. But now is it downloading? No. Now what happened? So whenever you said Docker run, the client had asked the daemon, do you have an image called as Nginx? It said yes. then run it. Simple. Are we getting the whole point? Yeah. Now let me go ahead and type. Our port this time is 8081. Do I have two Nginx containers running in the same machine? Yes. Are we clear about the stuff? What happens now? Whenever you say Docker commands, especially the Docker run, okay, the following stuff happens. Now let us technically define what these commands are. Okay. So client, okay, daemon, image store, okay, all of this is one box, and then we have a container registry. So for now I'll be calling it as Docker Hub, which is hub.docker.com. ఎందుకంటే మీరు Docker Hub ని కొడితే ఈ సైట్ కి నావిగేట్ అవుతుంది. Okay, fine. So whenever you say what is the command, Docker run, the request will be sent to daemon. Okay, daemon will check in the image store. Okay, since it has not found it for the first time, it will make a request to. So this request is basically called as Docker pull. So rather than giving Docker run, if you say Docker pull, what happens is an image will be downloaded from your registry to your local image store. Right? Are we good? So this command is a mix of two commands. Whenever you have said Docker run, there are two things which are happening. One is it was pulling the image if it is not found, and actually run is the basic run command is the image which you have over here. Okay, creating the container for that is run. Okay, so creating the container from the image is basically run. So this is run. Are we good? Yes. Okay, and then if you want to search the Docker registry, local registry, whether you have that images or not, okay, that command is called as images. So let me demonstrate all of these commands now. Okay, so now let me go ahead and say Docker images. So are you seeing images? This is querying local registry. నా లోకల్ రిజిస్ట్రీలో ఏమేమి ఇమేజ్లు ఉన్నాయని క్వెరీ చేయటమే. So if you see, every image will have a name, and most importantly, the most important factor of it is image ID. Most important factor is image ID. Okay, fine. Now I say, if I want to see what are the containers that are running, I would be saying Docker PS. I have two containers running. Are you seeing two containers? Okay, here you will have container name and container ID. Container ID is important than name. Container ID is important than name. So there are two things, images and containers. Are the images running applications? No, they are applications in the format which can be executed. Once you execute the image, it forms a container, and container is an isolated area for execution. So are you seeing the difference? But if you remember, we have created three containers. We have created HTTPD, we have created two Nginx containers. How many am I seeing now? Two, because the other container I have killed it. I have done Control C, if you remember. Okay, but where can I see the other container? So just say Docker PS minus A, which is all. Are you seeing three things now? So Docker PS will show you the commands or the containers which are running. It will not show the containers which you have stopped. Okay, so if you want to see all the containers, then you would be using a command which is called as Docker PS minus A. Fine, are we good? Yes. అర్థం అలా నాకు మీరు చెప్పింది. ఆ టయానికి 3 నిమిషాలు సార్, ఇప్పుడు నిమిషం అయింది తర్వాత. ఓకే, ఇది 3 minutes ఎగో అని ఉంది, అది 3 weeks ఎగో అని ఉంది. అలాగే మనం 3 వారాల క్రితం అసలు ఈ సిస్టమ్ క్రియేట్ చేయలేదు కదా అని. అదేనా మీ క్వశ్చన్? యా. సో ఇమేజ్ క్రియేషన్ టైమ్ ఈస్ నాట్ ద టైమ్ వేర్ వి డౌన్లోడెడ్ వెన్ ద ఇమేజ్ వాస్ క్రియేటెడ్ ఇన్ Docker Hub. Okay, image time whatever you are seeing is in the Docker Hub, this image was created 3 weeks ago. And when you are seeing containers time, this is something which we created. Image మనం క్రియేట్ చేయాలి, డౌన్లోడ్ చేసుకున్నాం. Are we good on that approach? Image we have not created, we have downloaded. Whoever has created that image, he has created 3 weeks ago. That's the stuff which you are seeing. Okay, now we have seen Docker pull, we have seen Docker images, Docker ps commands. Okay, now I want to pull some image. Shall I pull that image? Pull is just downloading, it will not run. When you say Docker run, it will pull and run it. So let me create one more image. Let me go to this Docker Hub and take one more image over here. So what we would take? Let us take something else. Let me take hello world, it is simple image. Okay, we'll go back to the other images later at the later point of time. On the day one, I don't want a complicated containers. So Docker, sorry, Docker pull hello. Okay, I have pulled it. Whenever I pull it, if I want to check whether it has been downloaded or not, what is that? Where is that I have to check? PS. I have downloaded the image. Docker images. PS is for containers. Here I have not downloaded the container, I have downloaded the image. Okay, so Docker, are you seeing something called as hello world? Now I say Docker run, sorry, hello world. Is it running? Okay, so that's it. But while running it, let us look at what it has said. Did it downloaded anything? No, because whenever you said Docker run, a request has gone to the daemon, and daemon had asked the image store, do you have an image called as hello world? The answer is yes, because we have pulled it before and it has directly executed it. Fine. And hello world is not a container which will run forever. It will display these commands and it will kill itself. So now if you see Docker ps, you will not be seeing hello world. Man, Docker ps, are you seeing hello world? No. If you want to see it, what is that you have to do? Docker ps, are you seeing hello world? Yes. So let me tell you one interesting thing for hello world. For hello world, I have said Docker run hello world, and if you remember, while running Nginx, I was giving hyphen name something. But for the hello world, did I given any name? So is there a name already for hello world? If you don't give a name, Docker will give some name. Remember that. Name lekunda undadu container ki. If you give a name, it will try to create a container with that name. If you don't give a name, Docker will give some ad hoc name to it. Okay, so basically name of the container and ID of the container cannot be same. Two containers cannot have a same name or same ID. Remember that. Fine. Okay, now yes, whenever it has run, it is a container. What we have pulled is an image. Why it was without hyphen name? Because it has killed itself. Adi running container kaadu. There are two kinds of things, right? One is service, the other one is executable. When you do an executable, what happens? It will run till the job is done and it will kill itself. Docker hello world is something like that. Yeah, fine. So you are seeing all of this, but I want to stop them. Docker ps, whatever is running, I want to stop the container. So shall I stop it? Yes. To stop it, you need a container ID or a container name. So what is a container ID over here? This one. So copy this and use something called as Docker stop and paste. Once the Docker is stopped, if you see in Docker PS, you should not be able to see it. If you remember in the earlier command, there were two things that were running, and now you are seeing only one stuff. And similarly, if I don't want to give this command, because copying and pasting every container is a difficult job for me, I can use some Linux syntax for it. So what I can say is Docker stop. Okay. And then just use dollar and say Docker ps minus q. ఈ సింటాక్స్ అర్థం అవ్వకపోతే మనం రోజు వాడుతూనే ఉంటాం. Just but the whole point over here is to the docker stop command, I am passing the results of some other docker command. Okay. Now see Docker ps. It says there is nothing. Docker ps. Are you seeing any container ID? No. Right? Similarly, if I want to remove all the containers, which I have executed, I don't want them. Okay. Remove containers, not images. Remember that there are two different things: removing container and removing image. So I want to remove the container. So Docker rm. But for that, I need to know the container IDs. But I don't want that. So I would use dollar Docker ps minus a minus q. ఎందుకంటే ఏ కంటైనర్ రన్ అవ్వట్లేదు కాబట్టి రన్ అవున కంటైనర్ లిస్ట్ తెచ్చుకొని దాన్ని డిలీట్ చేస్తున్నా. Okay, it said that I have deleted 4 containers. Now let us do Docker ps minus a. Are you seeing any containers? Even in minus a, you will not see it because you have removed the containers altogether. Fine. So pardon man, minus a ఉందా ఇంతకు ముందు? మైనస్ ఏ ఉంటే లేకపోతే డిఫరెన్స్ ఉంది. ఆగిపోయిన కంటైనర్ లిస్ట్ ఇమ్మని ఒకటి, అన్ని కంటైనర్ లిస్ట్ ఇమ్మని ఒకటి, రన్ అవుతున్న కంటైనర్ లిస్ట్ ఇమ్మని ఒకటి, అన్ని కంటైనర్ లిస్ట్ ఇవ్వమని ఒకటి. సో Docker ps minus a minus q will give you the list of all containers. Docker ps minus q will give you the list of only running containers. That's the difference. Yeah. Now similarly, Docker images. Okay, I want to remove all of these images. So I'd be using a command called as Docker rmi. Okay, and I would be using a similar syntax, but in the earlier case I have queried for container IDs. Now I'll be querying for image IDs. So Docker images minus everything is deleted. Now if you say Docker, everything is deleted on my machine. If you see Docker images, you will see nothing. Now if I say Docker run hello world, what should happen? It should download from internet, right? Yes, because it will ask the local image store, do you have an image called as hello world? We have just now deleted it. It would say I don't have anything. So let us see whether that is happening or not. Is it happening? Unable to find the image locally, so I am downloading it from dockerhub.com. So please remember this stuff. Whenever you try to tell Docker run command, it will go and reach the daemon, and daemon will always ask the image store, do you have that image? If the image is found, wonderful, it will run it. If it is not, it will download from the connected container registry. By default, your registry is Docker Hub. So now whenever you install the Docker and run these commands, it would go and connect to the Docker Hub, download the images and execute it. Fine. Yes. And what is a container? Container is an isolated area. What do I exactly mean by an isolated area for today is it will give privacy to your application. Okay, ఇవాళ ప్రైవసీ అనే మాట్లాడుతున్నా, రేపు అసలు ఏమేమి జరుగుతాయో చెప్తా. Okay, it will give privacy to your application so that it can run independently without any impact on other system factors. Okay, And if you remember my yesterday's statement, I have said that to the application, your container looks as if it is a operating system. To your host operating system, it would look as if it is a process. So let us expand on that area in the next class. Are we good? Yes. So if you have any questions, I think you can ask me. I'll look at some of the questions. Can we restore the uninstalled container? No. Uninstalled container, there is nothing called as uninstalled. Can you restore the removed container? No, because you are not actually uninstalled. We are removed. We were removing and adding the stuff. Okay. So whose responsibility is to create the image? Okay. For the next 2 weeks, it is yours and mine. Okay. In your organization, I can't decide because there are multiple ways of really doing it. If your organization is really big, it might not be your responsibility. But if you go and end up in a smaller organization, you might have to do everything. So let us not discriminate on responsibilities, and let us be prepared to do everything basically. Okay. So we'll be learning on how to create those images also. So the same commands also exist on Linux machine and Docker machine. So to prove that, what I would do is, this is my Windows Docker terminal, right? So let me run Docker run. హలో లేండి, అప్పుడే డాకర్ డిస్కషన్ మొదలు పెట్టారా? అంత గట్టిగా మాట్లాడుకుంటున్నారు, అదేదో నాకు చెప్పండి. Are you getting the same thing? Yes. Docker images. So I have these images. Docker PS. So across operating system, your commands don't change. Okay, the way Docker works might change, because in this actually what is happening, this is the return from Linux machine which has been created. This is Windows lo actually jaragatla, this Linux machine lo jarugutundi, Windows lo output kanabadutundi, but actually the things are happening on a Linux machine. Okay. So what will be the size of containers and how many containers can we create? So size of the containers, there are two sizes which you have to look at. One is basic size which it takes in terms of hard disk. The other thing is size it takes in terms of RAM. Okay. In hard disk, it depends on your image size. What is the size of the image? When you do Docker images, Docker images, you will be seeing the size of the image also. And when you see with respect to the CPU or RAM utilization, by default every container will be given 512 MB of RAM. But if you want, you can increase it. So till now, whatever we were trying to run on approximately 512 is a max, but it would run in a less than that. It is dynamically allocated. Okay. The max memory which it should take is by default is 512. Right. Okay. So if you have VirtualBox, can we run it on Windows 10 and without having Hyper-V? No, it will not work that way. So if you are having VirtualBox on Windows 10, please uninstall VirtualBox, enable Hyper-V, and then install Docker. Two things cannot happen, right? Can Jagan and Chandrababu Naidu travel in the same plane? Okay. If your answer is yes, this is also yes. Yeah. The same thing. Modi and Sonia Gandhi traveling at the same thing, not happening. So this will also not happen. Fine. So these are all public images. What about private images? Private images is something which we should learn how to create, right? So that is probably will take approximately 3 or 4 days more, and we'll be learning how to write our own images. Yeah. So for that, in that case, we will be moving away from Docker Hub, and probably you might use some other registry. That's the whole point. Okay, so there is something with respect to Python over here. Let me see what it is. So all of these public images, can we write within Python? There is no need for programming language to create an image. You just need a file format. Docker image create cheyadaniki Python vadali, dennana vadachu. So the whole point is, to write a Docker image, there is no programming language required. We will be writing something called as a Docker file, which is a very generic syntax. It is not a programming language. To run that, you can use from shell script, you can use Python script, you can use .NET, you can use Java, but the whole point is there is no need for it. Okay, fine. Okay. If applications having images more space, how will decide which the space required in the Linux machine? It will not decide. What will happen if you try to create a process which requires more memory? It will be there in the loop. It will not be started. till some memory is free. That's how operating systems manage it, right? So your container might not be started. The space might not be allocated by your operating system. That comes into OS scheduling. All right. So sometimes when you click on Chrome browser, it will take lots of time to launch because your CPU has not allocated. That is called as commit memory. That might not be allocated to your system. In Ubuntu machine, where is hello world is storing? In the local image store of Ubuntu machine. Okay. మనం Ubuntu machine ఎక్కడ క్రియేట్ చేసాం? AWS లో క్రియేట్ చేసాం. దాంట్లోనే స్టోర్ అవుతుంది. It is present in there itself. Okay. Yeah, location. Let us not worry about it. But if you are really eager into it, there is a folder called as var lib docker, and anything with respect to Docker goes in there. Yeah. So go into var lib docker, and there will be many things. So let us be procedural about it. Okay. Yeah, var lib docker. Fine, guys. So let us meet tomorrow and continue our discussion on how this stuff is happening. అసలు ఏం జరుగుతుందో చూసాం, అసలు ఇది ఎలా పనిచేస్తుందో కనుక్కున్నారు, రైట్? అమెజాన్ వెబ్ సర్వీసెస్ అది మళ్ళీ చెప్పాలా మీకు? ఒక్క నిమిషం, అంటే ఐ థింక్ వీఆర్ రన్నింగ్ అవుట్ ఆఫ్ టైమ్. సో నేను ఏం చేస్తానంటే ఐ వుడ్ ట్యాగ్ యూ టు ఎ పర్సన్ హూ కెన్ హెల్ప్ యూ అవుట్. ఓకే. ఇప్పుడు AWS క్లాస్ లేని వాళ్ళు ఎవరున్నారు? నెక్స్ట్ క్లౌడ్ క్లాస్ లేని వాళ్ళు. క్లౌడ్ క్లాస్ లేకుండా AWS అకౌంట్ క్రియేట్ చేయడం, AWS లో EC2 మెషిన్ క్రియేట్ చేయడం తెలిసిన హీ వుడ్ హెల్ప్ యూ అవుట్. అది మనం రోజు చేస్తాం. సో డోంట్ వరీ అబౌట్ ఇట్. హీ వుడ్ హెల్ప్ యూ అవుట్ ఆన్ హౌ టు డూ ఇట్. ల్యాప్టాప్ ఉందా? యా. సో జస్ట్ హెల్ప్ హిమ్ అవుట్. యా. థ్యాంక్స్ గైస్. థ్యాంక్స్ ఫర్ యువర్ టైం.